Welcome investors! Today's video is going to be about Chinese spying balloon and about the war in Ukraine. Let's start with the war in Ukraine, and specifically I would like to focus about the US help. What I would like to talk about is that all the help is really making a big difference in the war in Ukraine, but it's coming with the delay, and this delay costs thousands of innocent civilians' lives in Ukraine. Before February 22, 2022, there was a training staff, military US trainers who were training Ukrainian soldiers. Not only the US, they were Canadian, there was British. US decided to withdraw their military trainers because they didn't want it to anger Vladimir Putin. Specifically, Joe Biden decided to do this. That was his decision because he didn't want it to anger the Vladimir Putin. Then when the war started, there was a delay with delivery of weapons because Joe Biden didn't want it to anger Vladimir Putin. So delivery of howitzers M777 was delayed as long as possible, and then finally US made a decision to help, and those howitzers made a big difference because they are more accurate and they really help Ukrainians to kind of start fighting on the same level as Russians. Another thing, HIMARS also were delays. Eventually Ukrainians got them, and they were big game changer. They knocked down a lot of ammunition storages behind the Russian lines. Now we are talking about the tanks. Tanks also were delayed. Western countries didn't want it to ship the tanks. Finally, we have the decision that the tanks are going to Ukraine. Tanks are dead on the modern battlefield, but that is the subject for different conversation because of the development of shoulder rocket launchers, which are guided by lasers and by GPS. The battlefield is changing right now, so the tanks are not going to major game changer in Ukraine. There will be a big support, but they will not be a game changer like HIMARS were. What I'm trying to say is that the Biden administration is slow with sending the help to Ukraine. I don't want to undermine this help because US is number one if we are talking about the military help for Ukraine. And without this help, there will be no Ukraine today. But this help should go much faster. Then it would save more civilian lives, and it would show Russia that US is really fully backing up the Ukraine. Let's jump to this situation right now, this Chinese spying balloon which was floating for around a week above the US. It should have been shot down immediately, the same hour, the same minutes when it enters the US airspace. But Joe Biden is a weak leader. He was afraid. He didn't know what to do. And eventually, after a week, when he saw uproar of the public opinion, how this is possible that the foreign object is spying above us for a week, he gave the green light for Air Force to go and shut this down. I believe that this was only under the pressure of public opinion that he decided to do this. And this should have been done right away. Can you imagine US balloon flying above the Russia or above the China for a week? Would this happen? Absolutely not. It would have been shut down immediately. Those countries would never allow spying balloon flying over their countries for even an hour. But in US, we have weak and spineless leadership, which allowed the foreign country spying object flying for a week above the US, on the US airspace. It is really a disgrace and embarrassment for the current president of the US. And I am the US citizen. I spent here 25 years already, and I have double citizenship. I'm Polish citizen and US citizen, and the US is my home. My heart is here right now, but I deeply disagree with this, and how Joe Biden reacted to this situation in Ukraine and with this spying balloon. The same situation, too late, too little, with balloon and with the help to Ukraine. It should be faster and more, and it would be beneficial for United States. Another thing is that Russia, Vladimir Putin, knew that if the Biden will be a president, he would have a green light to go to Ukraine. And he actually did have a green light, because first couple days, as you remember, even the Ukrainian president said that you might see me here last time. Nobody believed, and nobody went right away to Ukraine to help them. Everybody was watching. First days, first hours, first days, everybody kind of said that Ukraine is going to fail, that Russians are gonna take over. Eventually, after first days, first couple weeks, Western countries started noticing that Ukraine is still standing. But initial hit from Russia, there was no immediate help from Western countries. Slowly later on, we could see humanitarian help, we could see military help. Of course, there was some military help earlier. US was sending javelins and some another military equipment, but there was no immediate help to save Ukraine on 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th of February 2022. So nobody really believed, and nobody expected Ukraine to survive, including their own president. But Ukraine survived, and we are where we are. Let's go back to the Chinese spying balloon above the US. Chinese president and the leadership of the communist China decided to do this most likely because US is moving to additional bases in Filipino, and Chinese, they don't like this. They don't want to say this openly because they know that they can do nothing about this. Filipino allows United States to take those bases and use them. And this was kind of news which didn't make the top line in all the news agencies, but this is something which provoked the China to send this balloon, to at least show some opposition, because they cannot do anything else right now. They're too weak, so they decided to at least show their opposition in this way, that they are against, and they are against politics which US is conducting around China, especially towards Taiwan, in South Korea, Japan. So Chinese manifest their uproar by sending the balloon. Some people say that this is testing the US, how the US is going to react and their defenses. I don't really believe in this, because if this was a real attack, and it was, first of all, wouldn't be conducted by the balloon. If this was done by the different, I would say, aircraft or missile or something like this, then automatically the US would respond, no matter what the Joe Biden would say. But they sent the balloon, and they said that this is for civilian meteorological scientific purposes, so they want to kind of confuse United States. But at the same time, they wanted to send a clear message that they can fly over longer, better for us. That's how the Chinese are operating. And I guess Russia, the same, operates the similar way. Vladimir Putin is the guy who operates on deception, on showing things which you would like to see, on showing you that he's always in charge. So who is Vladimir Putin? I'll give you a quick story about this. Who is Vladimir Putin? When Vladimir Putin was about to meet Angela Merkel, German Chancellor, he found out that she's panically afraid of dogs. So what he did, when he met her, he brought his dog with him. That is Vladimir Putin. That is the guy who will explore and use all the weakness against you, put you against the wall, and tell you that he's in charge. I guess he kind of overestimated his smartness in Ukraine, because as you can see, Ukraine is still standing and it's fighting, and it looks like that they are making long-term plans for gaining and getting all the territory which Russia took in 2014, Crimea, Donbass, because frankly they know that this is now or never. Now they have weapons, they have Western support, and they are going to do this. They are going to do this. They know that if they don't do this now, in the future there will be no another opportunity, there will be no another window to do this. Right now they will do this. They will do this because if leadership of Ukraine won't do this, people of Ukraine will be extremely angry because of all these sacrifices, all these casualties would be for nothing if they suddenly decide to sign off the peace treaty with Russia. So I don't think that this war is going to end anytime soon. It will go for a long time, but Ukraine is going to go all the way down to 2014 borders, and then there will be the country with the biggest amount of weapons, the well equipped with the most and modern weapons which are produced by the Western countries. That's what Vladimir Putin will achieve, having the Ukraine which will be having all the military, Western military complex purchased by Ukraine pointed towards Russia. And of course, defense contractors are already very happy about this, because Ukraine is going to be their customer for next decades to come. Okay, Thank you so much for being with me with this quick video, not about the business but about the Chinese spying balloon and about the US help in Ukraine. Please let me know about these topics which I was just talking about. I'm following very closely war in Ukraine because this is right next to Poland, right next to my country where I grew up, and I'm really watching and observing, trying to predict where the things are gonna go, which direction. So if you have any comments or suggestions, please write them down in the comments section. If you like the video, give me a thumb up. If you don't like the video, give me a thumb down. Write down why do you think I'm wrong. I would love to hear from you. And like always, stay healthy and well.